When a woman loses a good man, there is a moment when the world goes quiet in a way she never expected, not the peaceful kind of quiet, the heavy kind, the kind that forces reflection, the kind that shows her everything she ignored while she still had him. Because silence is honest, silence does not soften the truth. Silence tells her what she did not want to see, and when a good man walks away, that silence becomes the mirror she cannot look away from. A good man is not loud about what he gives. He does not beg to be appreciated. He shows up. He stays consistent. He sacrifices in ways that are easy to overlook. He solves problems before they become problems. He protects even when no one thanks him for it, and when he finally goes quiet, that hit is harder than any argument could ever be. That is when she realizes how rare he was, how steady he was, how much he carried without asking for applause. She begins to understand that a good man is not replaced, his loyalty is not copied, his presence is not duplicated. A good man is felt even more when he is no longer there, and now she has to sit with the reality she avoided. The messages he no longer sends, the calls he no longer returns, the support she no longer receives, the comfort she no longer has access to. That silence is her new teacher, and it is unforgiving because it delivers truth without emotion. The truth that respect matters more than attention, the truth that consistency matters more than charm, the truth that a man who tries is worth more than a man who entertains, and she learns these lessons when it is too late to go back. The punishment is not that he left. The punishment is realizing she pushed away the very thing she now wishes she could run toward. Realizing she gave her energy to what was temporary while neglecting what was loyal. Realizing she had someone solid and responded with doubt instead of appreciation. And here is the part people do not talk about. A good man does not return out of pity. Once he has been pushed past his limit, he chooses peace over potential. He chooses dignity over negotiation. He chooses silence because silence keeps him safe, so the silence becomes her reminder, her consequence, her wake-up call. She hears it when she wakes up. She hears it when she goes to bed. She hears it every time she thinks about all the moments she assumed he would always be there, and the lesson is simple. When you have someone who shows up, do not wait for silence to show you their value. Silence always arrives too late. When she loses a good man, the world does not fall apart in a loud, dramatic way. It falls apart quietly, the kind of quiet that exposes everything she never wanted to confront. In the beginning, that silence feels confusing. It feels strange to no longer hear the voice that once checked on her, the presence that once grounded her, the support that once made her feel secure without her even noticing it. What she feels now is the weight of everything she brushed aside while he was still there. Silence has a way of peeling back every layer she used to hide behind. It does not argue. It does not defend. It does not negotiate. It simply places truth in front of her and forces her to sit with it. This silence shows her the conversations he tried to have that she avoided, the effort he gave that she dismissed, the patience he showed that she took for granted. While he was there, she had noise, she had movement, she had distraction. It was easy to overlook his consistency because it blended into the background of her life. It was easy to assume he would stay because he always did, but silence removes that comfort. It removes that illusion. In the quiet, she becomes aware of how his presence shaped her world. She realizes that the calm she once felt did not come from stability within herself. It came from the stability he provided. Silence also reveals what she contributed and what she neglected. It shows her the moments she acted out of fear instead of appreciation, the moments she responded with doubt when he offered reassurance, the moments she pushed him away when he was trying to get closer. She begins to see how her choices created the distance that now defines their relationship. This reflection is not gentle. It is not softened by excuses. Silence does not allow her to escape into justification. It simply repeats the truth until she acknowledges it. The quiet also isolates her from the emotional noise that once allowed her to ignore her own patterns. Without the distraction of his messages or calls, she is faced with her habits, her reactions, her tendencies. She can no longer hide from the role she played in losing someone who wanted to give her something real. And the deeper she sits in this silence, the more she recognizes that her loss is not only about missing him, it is about confronting herself, the version of herself that did not know how to receive a steady man, the version that did not understand the value of consistency until it was gone. What makes this silence painful is that it carries no anger. A good man leaves with calm. That calm becomes the echo she hears every time she remembers a moment she dismissed him, every time she thinks about the things she thought she could correct later. Silence is different from rejection. Rejection hurts for a moment. Silence continues to teach. It becomes the environment she must live in until she accepts that losing him came from choices she never imagined would cost her this much. A good man rarely announces his value. He does not try to impress. He does not perform for the world. He contributes in quiet ways that often go unnoticed because he is not driven by attention. He is driven by intention. When he shows up, he does it with purpose. When he gives, he does it without keeping score. When he supports, he does it because he believes in the person beside him. And because he moves with this kind of steady energy, it becomes easy for someone to overlook just how much he actually brings into the relationship. His consistency can blend into the background like a familiar rhythm, predictable, reliable, something she assumes will always be there. He handles problems before they escalate. He stays patient in moments when others would walk away. He creates stability even when his own world is not perfect. He listens more than he reacts. He chooses understanding over ego. He builds peace instead of chaos. These are not loud actions. They are quiet strengths. And quiet strength is often underestimated until it disappears. Most people are conditioned to notice what stands out, not what stands firm. A man who shows off gets attention faster than a man who shows up. A man who entertains gets more reactions than a man who remains loyal. A man who talks loudly seems more impressive than a man who follows through without announcing it. But a good man is not interested in theatrics. He is interested in growth. He is interested in building something real. And because he does not demand recognition, it becomes easy for someone who is not paying attention to misinterpret his quiet as average. What she often realizes too late is that his quiet was strength, not passiveness. His calm was emotional discipline, not detachment. His steady nature was commitment, not boredom. His gentleness was care, not weakness. A good man offers these qualities naturally because they are part of who he is, but they are also rare. They are not the kind of qualities that can be replaced by someone new. They come from a depth many never develop. When he leaves, the contrast becomes undeniable. The world becomes louder but less supportive. Other people may show interest but not responsibility. They may offer excitement but not stability. They may entertain her emotions but not invest in her future. Suddenly, the things she once overlooked become the things she misses the most. The way he remembered the small details, the way he stayed calm when she panicked, the way he made decisions that protected both of them, the way he worked behind the scenes to keep the relationship strong. All of these quiet acts return to her mind with clarity. His value becomes clearest when she no longer has access to it. She understands that a good man does not replace himself with someone louder. He leaves a space that cannot be filled with noise, and that realization is what finally reveals just how extraordinary his quiet loyalty always was. When a good man is present, his steadiness becomes part of the environment. It is something she feels without consciously noticing. He is the one who brings emotional safety into her life. He is the one who offers reassurance without making her ask for it. He is the one who makes stressful situations feel manageable simply by being there. But when he is gone, the space he once filled becomes painfully visible. It is not the presence of someone new that reveals his value. It is the irreplaceable absence of what he consistently provided. His loyalty becomes clearer once it is no longer woven into her daily life. She remembers how she never had to question his intentions, how he chose her even on days she doubted herself, how he defended the relationship even when it required sacrifice. Loyalty is something many claim but few actually embody, and when he is gone, she realizes how rare it truly was. It was a loyalty rooted in action, not empty promises. It was a loyalty that stayed steady even when things were difficult. It was a loyalty that made her feel secure in ways she did not appreciate until it disappeared. His stability also becomes undeniable in hindsight. He was the one who kept things grounded when emotions got high. He handled challenges with clarity instead of chaos. He made decisions with both logic and care. She may not have noticed it then because stability never demands attention. It just quietly holds everything together. But once he is no longer around, she feels the shift immediately. Life becomes more reactive and less grounded. Conversations become more uncertain. Trust becomes harder to find. What he provided with ease becomes something she struggles to find elsewhere. His presence was not about grand gestures. It was about the way he showed up every day, the way he listened with genuine intent, the way he made her feel understood without needing to repeat herself. The way he protected her peace by being a man she could rely on. These are things that cannot be duplicated simply by meeting someone new. They develop through character, not convenience. They come from someone who values commitment over validation. And she realizes this only when she reaches for something he used to give effortlessly and finds nothing else that compares. Even the small moments become reminders. The conversations that once felt simple now feel lacking with others. The comfort she used to feel in his presence now feels like a void she cannot escape. The emotional space he created for her is something she cannot recreate by pretending she is unaffected. It becomes clear that what made him unique was not what he said but who he was. His authenticity, his strength, his consistency, his depth. And this realization deepens every time she encounters someone who cannot match the standard he set without ever trying to set one. She begins to understand that a good man is not valuable because he is perfect. He is valuable because he brings qualities that are rare in a world where many prioritize themselves over the relationship. His absence teaches her that what he gave was exceptional, that his presence was a privilege. That what she lost was not just a man, but the kind of man she may never encounter again. The silence that follows losing a good man becomes a teacher she cannot escape. It is not just an empty space. It is a space filled with every truth she ignored when she had the chance to choose better. In the quiet, she begins to understand what respect actually means. Respect is not a gesture. It is not something expressed only when it is convenient. Respect is shown in the way she speaks to him, the way she values his effort, the way she treats his consistency as something meaningful instead of something guaranteed. When he is gone, she realizes how often she responded with emotion instead of intention, how often she argued to win instead of understand, how often she dismissed what he tried to communicate. The silence brings all of this back without softening any part of it. She starts to see that appreciation is not a feeling. It is a practice. It is not enough to feel grateful for him. She needed to show it. She needed to acknowledge the effort he put in instead of assuming it was his responsibility. A good man does not ask for applause. He does not demand recognition. He simply shows up because he cares. But when she fails to see it, she teaches him that his effort is invisible, and silence forces her to face the moment she made him feel unseen. The consistency she once overlooked becomes the lesson she feels the deepest. Consistency is not exciting, it is not flashy, it does not entertain, it builds, it protects, it sustains. A good man remains consistent because he is committed to growth, not because it benefits him alone. But when she focuses on temporary excitement instead of long-term value, she risks losing the very thing that would have built the life she wanted. In the silence, she realizes that consistency is the foundation of love. Without it, everything collapses. The quiet also teaches her about the choices she made when she had him. She remembers the times she let pride speak louder than connection, the times she withheld affection because she wanted control, the times she dismissed his perspective because she wanted to feel right. She sees how her habits were shaped by insecurity, not appreciation, and that recognition is painful because she can no longer change the outcome. The silence reminds her that good men leave when they are pushed past the point of being valued. This becomes her consequence because silence removes the illusion of being in control. She can no longer distract herself with his presence. She can no longer rely on his support to calm her down. She can no longer count on his steadiness to balance her chaos. The quiet shows her every place where she failed to show up. It shows her that real connection requires maturity. It requires effort. It requires emotional accountability. And she learns this when he is no longer there to choose her despite her flaws. In the silence, she begins to understand that love is not lost in one big moment. It is lost in the small moments she thought did not matter. A good man reaches his limit long before he ever raises his voice. He does not leave because he stopped caring. He leaves because he finally realizes that caring alone cannot sustain a relationship where he is no longer respected or understood. When he walks away, he does it with a calm that feels unsettling. There is no dramatic exit. No final argument, no long explanation, just silence, and that silence is the clearest sign that he has chosen his peace over the possibility of staying in a situation that hurts him. A good man does not return simply because he is missed. Missing him is not enough, regret is not enough, promises to change are not enough. A man who has given everything he genuinely could does not step back into the same environment that drained him. He knows that going back would only repeat the same cycle. So he chooses to protect his emotional well-being even if it means letting go of someone he once imagined a future with. That choice is not made out of bitterness. It is made out of self-respect. He understands something she only realizes after he leaves. Peace is more valuable than potential. A relationship filled with repeated disrespect or lack of appreciation cannot be repaired by apologies alone. Growth requires action, not intention. And when she repeatedly showed him that she did not see his value, he eventually learned to stop offering it. She might expect that love will make him return, but good men do not move backwards. They do not reopen chapters that drained them. They do not rebuild where they were once broken. What makes this realization heavy for her is that his silence is not to punish. It is to protect. He is choosing a life where he is no longer questioned for being consistent, no longer criticized for being calm, no longer undervalued for being loyal. He chooses environments where his steadiness is recognized as strength, not weakness. He chooses people who match his energy instead of draining it. She begins to understand that a man who gives deeply will also leave decisively when he feels unseen. His choice to walk away becomes the moment she sees the truth she avoided. He was not replaceable. What he offered was not common. His love was not ordinary, and now she is left with the silence that follows a man who has made peace with his decision. That silence is not empty. It holds every moment where he tried, every moment where he communicated, every moment where he showed up, every moment where he believed things could improve. It holds the reminders she once ignored. She now feels the weight of what it means for a good man to choose himself. His silence is final, not because he is angry, but because he is done, not because he stopped caring, but because he finally cared enough about himself. And that silence becomes the lesson she carries. It teaches her that losing a good man is not about the breakup. It is about realizing she lost someone who would have chosen her forever if she had valued him when she had the chance. When you step back and look at the journey we just walked through, it becomes clear that the loss of a good man is never just about the end of a relationship. It is a transformation that forces her to face the truth she avoided. The silence he leaves behind becomes the mirror that shows her what she could not see when he was still choosing her. His presence taught lessons she did not recognize. His absence teaches the ones she can no longer escape. And in that silence, she discovers that value is not found in loud moments, but in the steady ones we often overlook. A good man does not disappear without giving everything he had, and when he finally chooses to walk away, he teaches the most powerful lesson of all. Appreciate what is real before it becomes a memory. Thank you for listening, for giving your time, and for choosing to grow with every message you take in. Your support means more than you know, and every listener who shows up makes this work worth doing. If this message resonated with you, make sure to subscribe, stay connected, and continue this journey with me. Your growth, your strength, and your evolution matter. I will see you in the next one.